Imagine this, you're walking through the streets of a large city and you look and you say, boy, that's a big building, must be 50 stories. Must be getting ready to open it because they're testing the elevator. Down it comes, 50, 49, 48, 47. And as you look in the bottom of the elevator, you see there's a little, on the ground floor in the elevator shaft, there's a little gap about 14 inches, and you see two little children have crept in and they're playing in the sand with their toys in the elevator shaft. And you think of the fate of those children. Horror grips your heart as you imagine what will happen to them. So motivated by compassion, motivated by a love for them, all the energy you've got, you run to pull those kids out, and as you reach in, you say to yourself, they do seem to be enjoying themselves with their toys. I better not disturb them. What a ludicrous thought. Or you see the elevator's going to come down and crush them to death. And so you rush, and as you reach in to pull them out and save them, you say to yourself, complete strangers, don't even know them, can't approach them. Now they sound ludicrous, ridiculous, but they're the two reasons most Christians don't witness of their faith. We say, hey, my neighbors would not be interested in Jesus Christ. They wouldn't be interested in the things of God because they're so happy. They've got everything. They just wouldn't be interested. You know, the guy that led me to the Lord 20 years ago, the day after my conversion, actually the whole weekend, he went around saying, Ray Comfort, a Christian. I don't believe it. I just don't believe it. You see, he, in his ignorance, in his naivety, had assumed because I was extremely happy, I wouldn't be interested in everlasting life. Now think about it for a moment. It doesn't make sense. And it's because this twisted gospel that Jesus will make you happy, we think our field of evangelical endeavor is just the great misery out there and not those who are enjoying the pleasures of sin for a season. There are plenty of happy sinners. The Bible says sin is pleasurable, sin is enjoyable. Moses chose rather to suffer affliction with the people of God rather than enjoy the pleasures of sin for a season. Jeremiah 12:1. Why are they also happy who deal treacherously? The man who said as miserable as sin is probably the same guy that said crime doesn't pay. Crime does pay. And sin is not miserable. And I was extremely happy as a non-Christian, enjoying the pleasures of sin for a season. I remember I was watching television in Hawaii. I was over there ministering at the time. Someone has to do it. And I was watching television. And it was Nancy Sinatra being interviewed about her success. Nancy Sinatra had a hit song a number of years ago called Boots. These boots are made for walking. That's just what they'll do. One of these days, these boots are going to walk all over you. Nice song. And after the interview, still on camera, he says, how's your father doing, Frank Sinatra? She says, oh, Dad's pretty depressed at the moment. He said, why is that? I mean, why should Frank Sinatra be depressed? Very rich, very famous, got everything he can want. She says, well, I think it's because he's realizing his mortality, which is a very nice way of saying Frank Sinatra is scared to death of dying, like every other son and daughter of Adam that doesn't know Jesus Christ. The Bible says in the book of Hebrews, chapter 2, verse 15, that they're held captive by the fear of death, subject to vanity all their lifetime. And that's what bothered me as a non-Christian. I had this great big happiness bubble. I was enjoying myself. I loved life. And I was waiting for the sharp pin of reality to prick it. I could see that I was part of the ultimate statistic, 10 out of 10 die. It's true. And my life became vain. But I tell you, I did not want to lose it. I couldn't understand why on earth everything I held dear to me was going to be ripped from my hands by death. My loved ones, everyone I loved would be torn from my hands, and I could be taken at any time. That's why I so often do mock funerals. I do fake funerals all the time. When I go to minister in Hawaii or around the country, what I do is I normally say to a local church, if you've got me coming a day early, let's go out to a shopping center or a mall. I want 6 guys. I want them to wear black pants, black shoes, white shirt, black tie, and dark sunglasses. Bring a sheet and some young lady or a guy that doesn't mind lying on the ground. And what we do is we just line the 6 guys up there, lie the girl in front, put a sheet over, tuck it under, and then I spend 5 to 10 minutes straightening the ties of the pallbearers. Just going along one after the other. By the time I look around, there's usually about 150 people staring. So then I get up on a little soapbox and I say, you're probably wondering what's going on. So that's fair enough. As a pastor, when I've taken genuine funerals, I've noticed that people's eyes and ears are open wide as they listen to you preach the gospel over the corpse of a loved one. And I thought, why does someone have to die for humanity to open their heart to the words of Jesus Christ? I say, this is a fake funeral. We're not taking a collection. This is not television evangelism. There's no number going in front of the screen. You can leave if you want. But we encourage you to stay around because the Bible says Jesus Christ has abolished death and brought life and immortality to light through the gospel. And if there's one chance in a million that that's true, you owe it to your good sense, your common sense, and your loved ones just to wait and see if there is an answer to your greatest dilemma, the power of death. And often people stay. Because I know that a legitimate tool in evangelism is the will to live. The fear of death, or put another way, the will to live. And I say, let your will to live. Nobody in his right mind wants to die. Let that will to live cause you just to open up your heart and listen to the claims of the gospel. So, let's see, the issue is righteousness, not happiness. It doesn't matter how happy a sinner is. Without the righteousness of Christ, he'll perish in the day of wrath. Riches profit not in the day of wrath, but righteousness delivers from death. And happy people want to live as much or even more than sad people.